Ethan Cole never planned to buy something that would change his life forever. He only wanted a few spare parts for his ship. Life as a scavenger on the galactic frontier was hard enough, and every credit mattered. But fate often worked in strange ways, and on that day, in a crowded auction house filled with broken machines and dusty relics, he stumbled into a destiny he never asked for. The auction house smelled like rust and oil. Traders shouted in many alien tongues, bidding on scrap engines, half-broken robots, and crates of forgotten technology. Ethan stood near the back, leaning against a wall with his arms crossed. He wasn't interested in most of the junk. He needed a power converter for his ship, Rustwing, and maybe a navigation relay if he was lucky. The auctioneer, a green-skinned Orlan with a booming voice, waved his long arms dramatically as he presented each item. Next lot. The Orlan shouted, a fine selection of pre-war medical tools, barely rusted, starting at 5 credits. Bidders shouted over one another. Ethan didn't care. His eyes wandered, scanning the pile of items waiting their turn. That was when he saw an Idenod helmet resting on a dusty crate. It didn't look like junk. It was silver, with strange blue engravings that seemed to shimmer faintly under the lights. Its design was elegant, more like something ceremonial than practical. It looked too clean to be a relic, too strange to be useful. The helmet called to him. The Orlan finally dragged the helmet onto the platform. He laughed as he held it up. Lot number 72. Some worthless headgear, origin unknown, found in a wreck on the Varen border. No use, no value. Starting price, 1 credit. The crowd didn't even look. Most people chuckled. Who would waste money on a broken helmet? But Ethan felt something stir inside him. A strange curiosity. Against his better judgment, he raised his hand. 1 credit, he said. Nobody else bid. The Orlan rolled his eyes. Sold to the human for 1 credit. Enjoy your shiny trash. Ethan carried the helmet away, shaking his head at himself. What are you doing, Cole? You barely have money for fuel, and you're buying alien decorations. But something about it felt different. Alive, almost a strange activation back. Aboard Rustwing, Ethan tossed the helmet onto his workbench. The ship hummed around him, a patchwork vessel barely held together by repairs and stubbornness. He meant to ignore the helmet and focus on fixing his converter, but he couldn't stop glancing at it. Finally, curiosity won. He picked it up, brushing off the dust. The engravings glowed faintly, pulsing as if responding to his touch. His heart quickened. Weird. He muttered, almost without thinking. He placed it on his head. The moment it settled, light exploded in his vision. Symbols flashed before his eyes. His mind filled with whispers in a language he didn't know, but somehow understood. The ship's lights flickered. He tried to rip it off, but it felt fused to him. Then a calm voice spoke inside his mind. At last, the crown has chosen. Ethan stumbled back, knocking over tools. What the who's there? A shape appeared before him, glowing like a hologram. It was a girl, no, not exactly. She had fox-like ears on her head, a long swaying tail, and luminous golden eyes. She wore royal armor, trimmed with silver and blue. Ethan's jaw dropped. What? What are you? The figure bowed gracefully. I am Kyra, guardian of the Varen dynasty. You wear the crown of command. That makes you my sovereign. Ethan laughed nervously. Yeah, right. Sovereign of what? This junk pile of a ship? Her expression was serious. No, you are the rightful ruler of my people. The crown's power. Ethan yanked the helmet off. This time, it came free easily. He tossed it onto the bench like it was burning him. Okay, nope. That's insane. I didn't sign up for space politics. Kyra's hologram faded slightly, but remained. You cannot escape the crown once it has chosen you. It binds itself to the mind it deems worthy. Ethan rubbed his temples. I'm not worthy of anything except bad luck. I'm just a scavenger. Kira tilted her head, fox ears flicking. Perhaps, but humans are unpredictable. That is why the crown chose you. Before Ethan could argue, his ship's alarm blared. Incoming vessels. He rushed to the cockpit and checked the scanner. 2 sleek ships were approaching, marked with Varan insignia. A transmission crackled through. On the screen appeared stern alien officers with fox-like features similar to Kyra's. "Identify yourself, human. You are in possession of stolen Varan property." Ethan froze. "Look, I just bought this at an auction." Their eyes widened as they saw the helmet lying beside him. Silence fell. Then both officers suddenly dropped to one knee in perfect synchronization, even through the transmission. "Your Majesty," they said in unison. Ethan nearly fell out of his chair. "What?" Kyra's hologram appeared beside him, calm and steady. "Do you see now? The crown marks you as ruler. They cannot deny it." Kyra, in the flesh, the officers pledged loyalty and offered escort to the Varan homeworld. Ethan, still stunned, ended the call. He turned to Kyra. "This is crazy. I can't rule anyone." Kyra's hologram stepped closer, her golden eyes warm. "You will not be alone. My duty is to serve and protect the bearer of the crown, and I can take physical form if you wish." Ethan blinked. "Physical form, you mean? Not just a hologram?" She nodded. A body was prepared long ago, hidden until a new sovereign would arise. The crown can unlock it. Before Ethan could process that, the ship's storage bay opened on its own. Inside, a pod hissed and cracked open. Mist poured out. A figure stepped forward. It was Kyra, now flesh and blood. Her fox ears twitched, her tail swayed behind her, and her footsteps were soft but sure. Ethan's mouth went dry. "You're Riel," she bowed deeply. "I am yours to command, my king." Ethan held up his hands. "Don't call me that, please. I'm just Ethan." But she only smiled gently. "Ethan, my king. The crown's choice is law. From this moment, I am your guardian." That night, as exhaustion finally pulled him towards sleep, Kyra refused to leave his side. She curled up near him on the narrow bunk, her tail draped softly across her legs. "A sovereign must never sleep unguarded," she whispered. "This is my duty." Ethan lay awake for a long time, staring at the ceiling, wondering what kind of storm he had just stepped into. The threat-revealed morning brought no peace. His screen lit up with urgent transmissions. Kyra activated them, her expression tense. On the screen appeared grim reports. The Varan homeworld was in turmoil. Warlords had risen, declaring the old dynasty broken. They rejected the crown's authority and gathered fleets to crush anyone who claimed the throne. Kyra's ears flattened against her hair, her golden eyes sharp. "They will come for you, Ethan. They will try to destroy the crown before your reign begins. And they will burn our people in the process." Ethan felt a cold weight in his stomach. He had never wanted more than a simple life, scraping by with his ship. Now he was being dragged into a war for a planet he didn't even know. He looked at Kyra. She was watching him with unwavering faith. Her presence steady and loyal. He whispered, half to himself, "What have I gotten into?" Kyra stepped closer, her tail brushing the floor. Her voice was firm. "You have gotten into destiny, my king, and it is already on its way." The ship's scanner lit up again, multiple hostile ships approaching. The rebels had found him. Ethan Cole had survived many scrapes in his life, but nothing like this. He was a scavenger, a man who fixed broken ships with borrowed tools, not a soldier or a king. Yet now, his scanner flashed red warnings, showing hostile ships closing in fast. The rebel Varan warlords had found him. They were not coming to talk. Kyra stood beside him in the cockpit. Her fox ears tilted forward, her golden eyes narrowed. She wore light armor now, silver and blue, like the hologram image Ethan had first seen. Her tail flicked with agitation. "They come to test you," she said. "If you falter, they will strike down the crown and declare the dynasty finished." Ethan clenched his jaw. Great, no pressure then. The first encounter, the rebel ships broke through the void, sleek and deadly, bristling with weapons. Their leader appeared on the screen, a scarred Varan, commander with dark fur streaks on his ears and a harsh glare. "You are the human who dares to wear the crown." The commander sneered. "It belongs to no scavenger. Hand it over, or be destroyed." Ethan forced a crooked grin. Funny thing, I bought it fair and square at an auction. Guess that makes me the legal owner. The commander's snarl deepened. We answered a no outsider. You will burn. Transmission cut off, and the rebel ships armed their weapons. Kyra looked at Ethan. What are your orders, my king? Ethan swallowed hard. He didn't feel like a king, but he couldn't show weakness now. He glanced at his patched-up ship, knowing it couldn't withstand a direct fight. He needed to think fast. Human fast. Divert all power to the engines, he said. We're not fighting head-on. We're going to outsmart them. Kyra obeyed without hesitation, her fingers flying across the controls. The Rustwing roared as its engines pushed to maximum. The rebel ships followed, firing bursts of plasma that scorched space around them. Ethan led them into a nearby asteroid field. The rebels hesitated. The field was dense, dangerous to navigate at high speed. But Ethan plunged straight in, weaving between jagged rocks, trusting his instincts and quick reflexes. Kira's eyes widened as the ship twisted and spun through impossible gaps. You fly like chaos itself, she whispered. Chaos is my specialty. Ethan muttered. 2 rebel ships smashed against asteroids trying to follow him. The rest broke off pursuit, unwilling to risk more losses. For now, they were safe. The burden of command Ethan landed the Rustwing on a small loyalist outpost near the Varan homeworld. Soldiers and civilians crowded the landing bay, staring in awe at the sight of the human with the crown. Your Majesty, they whispered, bowing deeply. Ethan felt uncomfortable. He wasn't used to being respected or feared. He looked at their worn faces, their tired eyes. They were afraid. They needed hope. And somehow the crown had given them him. Kyra stepped beside him, her voice clear. Behold your sovereign. The crown has chosen. His reign begins now. The crowd cheered, though their voices carried desperation as much as joy. That night, Ethan paced in his quarters, the helmet sitting on the table. He stared at it, frustrated. Why me? I'm not a leader. I fix junk. I don't command fleets. Kyra sat on the edge of his bed, her tail curled around her legs. She watched him with patient eyes. The crown does not seek perfection. It seeks possibility. Humans adapt where others cling to tradition. That is what we need. Ethan sighed. I'm just one man. She tilted her head. One man who already outwitted a rebel fleet with only a broken ship. That is more than most kings could do. Her words stayed with him. Maybe he wasn't ready, but maybe he didn't have a choice. Preparing for war within days. The news spread across the system. The crown had returned, and its bearer was a human. Loyalist forces rallied, bringing Ethan broken fleets and half-ruined ships. They looked to him for guidance. Ethan studied their ships and shook his head. These are falling apart, but we can work with this. Using his scavenger skills, he led crews to strip, rebuild, and repurpose. Cargo haulers became missile carriers. Mining drones were rigged with explosives. Old freighters were refitted with armor platings scavenged from wrecks. The Varan engineers doubted him at first. These designs are crude, they said. Crude works, Ethan replied. Rebels expect you to fight clean and noble. Let's fight dirty and smart. Kyra watched him with growing admiration. Every decision he made defied their rigid traditions. Every trick and improvisation gave them an edge. At night, Ethan collapsed onto his bunk, exhausted. Kyra always remained nearby, sometimes sitting at his side, sometimes curling up on the bed itself. She never left him unguarded. He pretended it bothered him, but deep down, found her presence strangely comforting. The battle for the homeworld. The day came when the rebel fleet descended on the Varan capital. Their ships darkened the skies, a massive force meant to crush resistance. The loyalist fleet, patched and cobbled together by Ethan's ingenuity, was smaller, weaker, but ready. Ethan stood on the bridge of a commandeered warship. Wearing the crown, Kyra stood beside him, her hand resting lightly on her sword hilt. Her golden eyes glowed with fierce pride. The rebel commander appeared once more on the come, sneering. So, human. You bring your toys to fight us? We will erase you, Ethan smirked. You can try, But humans don't play fair. Battle erupted. The rebels advanced in formation, precise and disciplined. But Ethan unleashed chaos. Mining drones disguised as debris exploded in their midst. Freighters feigned retreat, then turned to ambush. Plasma torpedoes fired from hidden launchers blasted enemy cruisers apart. Kyra fought on the ground when rebels landed troops, leading loyalist warriors with unmatched skill. She moved like lightning, her tail flicking as her blade cut down foes. But always her eyes returned to Ethan, ensuring he lived. Despite being outnumbered, the rebels faltered. They were rigid, predictable. Ethan's human unpredictability shattered their order. The tide turned. Victory and recognition at last. The rebel flagship lay crippled, drifting in flames. Their commander appeared once more, defeated. His voice shook with disbelief. How? How could a human do this? Ethan stared at him calmly. Because you couldn't imagine it. That's the difference. The rebels surrendered. Loyalists across the system erupted in cheers. The Varan capital was saved, in a grand ceremony. Ethan was crowned officially, though he still felt strange wearing the title. The people bowed, chanting his name. For the first time, he didn't feel like an imposter. Maybe, just maybe, he could do this. That night, in the palace chambers prepared for him, he sat at the window, staring at the stars. Kyra approached quietly, her tail brushing softly against the floor. You did it, she said gently. You gave them hope again. Ethan smiled faintly. I just did what humans do best, make things up as I go. Kyra sat beside him on the bed, curling up gracefully. Her presence was warm, steady, loyal. She rested her head lightly near his shoulder, closing her golden eyes. Ethan looked down at her, then at the crown resting on the table. He thought of where he had started a scavenger, buying junk at an auction. Now he was king of a planet, with a loyal fox-eared guardian by his side. From scavenger to king, he whispered, guess humans really do have a way of making history. And for the first time in years, he felt at peace.